All right, everyone. This is the first in what I hope will be a long series on technique. What I mean by technique is that coding has a physical aspect as well as an intellectual aspect. Obviously, it helps to know the formalities of whatever language you're coding in, but at some point you need to sit down at the keyboard, and so I think it would be good to share some keyboard tricks that I've accumulated over the years. These videos are going to be short, but if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments. All right, so let's get started with our very first technique video. Now, what are we looking at? This is some code. I happen to be using Vim, actually NeoVim, but the tips that I'm going to show you can be replicated on pretty much any IDE. I'm just using Vim to cut down on the screen clutter. So, uh, as everyone knows, one of the biggest challenges with being a developer is actually reading code. In my experience, reading code is a lot harder than writing code, especially if you're reading code that someone else wrote. And with a really big artifact like this one, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and so it's kind of hard to focus on what specifically you're interested in. So for scenarios like this, I like to use code highlighting. Now I'm using something called Limelight. I just toggled it on here, and you can see how this works. Basically, there will be highlighting that follows the cursor. So as you cursor down, the highlighting will follow, and everything else will dim out, which is kind of awesome. So this is called Limelight. I'm going to go ahead and link to this plugin in the comments to this video. So if you're a Vim user and you want to check this out, it'll be easy. If you use Visual Code or something like that, then search the plugin extension directory. I would be astonished if the major IDEs didn't have this functionality as well. So code highlighting, there's a specific use case that I want to share that makes code highlighting really useful, and that's when you're writing tests. So let's get this going here. I'm going to open an example. So this is just a simple class. Now, when I'm writing tests, I like to split my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and split left and right. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to open my test class. And this is where it gets really useful. So as you can see on the right, I have my production code. This is the class under test. I'm sorry, on the left, I have my class under test. And on the right, I have the test itself. And the way that I have this highlighting set up is I'm highlighting a specific test that is going into this particular production code, and it's really helpful for focus. Now this is a little bit of a trivial example because these artifacts are so small, but you can imagine if the lines went all the way down to the end of the screen, it could be really visually overwhelming. And what code highlighting does is it gives your brain a rest because you can focus so minutely on the specific line or handful of lines that you care about, and everything else kind of falls out of your frame. It's really helpful for focus. So check it out, code highlighting. That is our first tip of the series, and I'm going to follow up soon with another one. Alrighty, enjoy.